Good afternoon. Please be seated. Good afternoon. Please be seated. Good afternoon. Please be seated, everyone. Thank you. We are about to begin. Please be seated. Good afternoon, class of 2021. How are you? Welcome to campus. I know for some of us it's been a while since we've been on campus, so this is tremendous to see everyone here. My name is Wayne Edwards, professor and chair of American Studies, Media and Communications. I've also had the pleasure over the years of serving in several administrative posts here at Old Westbury: Dean of Students, Vice President for Student Affairs, Chief Diversity Officer, Vice President for Institutional Advancement, and Executive Director of the Old Westbury College Foundation. So I thank our President, Dr. Timothy Sams, our Provost, Dr. Duncan Corliss, and Ms. Daniel Collins-Groner, Chair of our Commencement Committee, for asking me to do the honors of greeting you today. It's a privilege that I do not take lightly. That said, we welcome all of you today. I almost said initially, welcome students, but after yesterday's commencement ceremony, you are no longer students, but are now officially alumni of the college. Give yourselves a round of applause. I also extend greetings to faculty, staff, administrators, members of the College Council, the College Foundation, and friends of the college who are with us today either in person or virtually. And last but not least, your family, friends, and loved ones who have supported you throughout your impressive academic journey. Let's take a minute to make some noise to show them your love and appreciation. All right, so let's get started. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce someone who is not only a dear friend and colleague, but more importantly, someone who holds a special place in the Old Westbury family. Dr. Laura Anker is a distinguished service professor of American Studies and director of the college's first-year experience and community action learning and leadership program. The CALL program has earned Old Westbury a place on the President's Higher Education Community Service Honor Roll every year since its inception in 2007. Dr. Anker is co-editor of The Ethics of Engagement, Educating Leaders for a Just World, and has published peer-reviewed articles and presented papers at national and international conferences on the importance of civic engagement and community learning for retention, intercultural understanding, social activism, and effective global citizenship. A community leader and frequent speaker on issues of education and immigration, Dr. Anker was elected to the East Hampton Union Free School District for 7 terms, 21 years. and served both as its president and vice president. She currently serves on the board of directors of the Eleanor Whitmore Early Learning Center and Long Island Wins, an immigrant advocacy organization, as well as on the executive committee of the East Hampton Group for Good Government. In 2018, Dr. Anker received the Leadership Award from the Old Westbury College Foundation, and in 2019, from the National Society for Experiential Education, she was awarded for Outstanding Experiential Educator for Higher Education. I could go on and on about Dr. Anker. Her accomplishments are many, but please put your hands together and welcome Dr. Laura Anker.
Thank you, and I join in extending my thank you to Dr. Sams, Dr. Quarles, Colleen, everybody here for allowing me to speak. Congratulations to the class of 2021, the largest graduating class in Old Westbury's history. While we were able to honor you virtually in Sunday's grand formal graduation with all its pomp and circumstance, we are also so happy to be able to celebrate your achievements in these small in-person ceremonies on Old Westbury's beautiful campus. Although health precautions imposed by COVID-19 prevent your parents, extended families, and significant others from being in this room with us today, we are also live streaming these festivities, and you'll be able to take pictures outside with them and with us after the ceremony. I know that as your greatest cheerleaders, they join us in applauding your achievements, academic, personal, and civic, the ways you have grown and the obstacles you have overcome to graduate from Old Westbury. Without their love and support, you would not be college graduates. So please join me in applauding them once again. Born out of the struggle for civil rights and economic, racial, and gender equality of the 1960s, Old Westbury is a young college with a long tradition of commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, educational empowerment, active learning, community engagement, and leadership for change. From its inception, Old Westbury was committed to providing an elite liberal arts interdisciplinary education in a democratic context, to educating those who had been traditionally bypassed by American higher education: women, students of color, immigrants, working class young people, and older adults. By graduating, you demonstrate that you have, in the words of Adrienne Rich, claimed this very special college education. So many of you represent the first generation in your families to graduate from college. Most of you have worked, often too many hours, to help support yourselves while in college and to contribute to your families. Your graduation itself challenges the widening economic and racial divide in American society. By being here today and in your contributions to your families and communities, you personify Mahatma Gandhi's often quoted phrase, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world." I know that the faculty, administrators, and staff gathered here today share my respect, admiration, and even awe at the enormity of your accomplishments. Graduating from college is a major achievement in normal times, but you have persevered under the most challenging of circumstances, a worldwide pandemic that has ravaged our nation and the globe, forcing you to complete the last year and a half of your college education remotely. Despite the difficulties of a transition to virtual learning, you have excelled academically and contributed as tutors, teaching assistants, college and community ambassadors, poll watchers, essential workers, and so much more. You are leaving us to continue your education and graduate programs in elementary, secondary, bilingual, and special education, or to begin your careers as teachers on Long Island and New York City, who speak truth to power, knowing that education is the essential foundation of a democratic society and engaged global citizenship. And I want to take a moment to ad lib here. I come from a long tradition of a family of educators. My parents were public school educators and administrators in New York City, and my daughter and daughter-in-law are now teachers and do staff development. And I will never forget when my daughter applied for her graduate program in education. She wrote that she wanted to be a teacher because then she could forever be a student. And I think that that expresses what we know and what you learned from readings like Paulo Freire and others who stress that education for liberation happens in community. It happens when we learn from each other, not when we, in his terms, the banking theory of education, when we deposit ideas in our students, expecting to get them back, for them to be passive recipients of what we say. And I know that those are the kinds of teachers that you are all going to be. As college graduates, you will enjoy more rewarding careers and earn at least $1 million more over your lifetime than those whose highest degree is a high school diploma. But your Old Westbury liberal arts education will continue to enrich your lives in so many more important ways than money, making you happier and transforming your careers, friendships, ideas, values, and communities, the person you are and whom you will become. I can testify that learning from the differences and similarities in your voices and stories inside and outside the classroom has shaped my life, who I am as a teacher, historian, community activist, friend, spouse, mother, and grandparent. You are graduating from college at this particularly difficult time during a global pandemic that has taken so many lives and accentuated the problems of racism and inequality that have plagued our country from its inception and continue to undermine our democracy and our humanity. But you, the Old Westbury graduating class of 2021, make this also a time of great hope and optimism for a better future. The unique diversity of Old Westbury has enriched your classrooms and challenged all of you to listen more fully, reflect more deeply, think more critically, decide more ethically, care more intensely, love more broadly, and act more courageously and compassionately in everything you do. It is taught you, in the words of Martin Luther King, that an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. As Old Westbury graduates, you know that the greatest measure of success is the contributions you make to the community. You have learned from the diverse experiences and perspectives of your classmates and faculty to speak out and act against racism, sexism, inequality, and cruelty, to break that silence and bridge some of those differences between us, as Audre Lorde reminds us. For it is not difference which immobilizes, but silence. To a divided nation and world, torn apart by racism, hate, inequality, and the decimation of the environment, you bring the ideals and values expressed in Old Westbury's historic social justice mission. Access and equity, inclusivity, critical thinking, empathy, creativity, intercultural understanding, lifelong learning, and social activism. a commitment to building a more just and sustainable world. As graduates, you have become part of Old Westbury's history. You are also going to join the family of global alumni, 31,000 people strong, who will shape the college's future. We look forward to staying in touch and connected as you embark on your future journeys, and hope that you will channel the magic of Old Westbury to the problems of your communities, our nation, and the world, today and in the future. Thank you and congratulations. And I applaud you. Now, it is my great honor to introduce our new president, Dr. Timothy E. Sams. Dr. Sams began his tenure as the 6th president of Old Westbury in January 2021, amid the COVID-19 pandemic, protest, political unrest, and the college's pivot to virtual learning. Dr. Sams has brought with him 3 decades of experience in improving academic success and college completion, particularly for students from underrepresented and marginalized communities. In the 4 short months since his arrival, Dr. Sams' commitment to Old Westbury's students and mission have won him the admiration, respect, and affection of the entire Old Westbury community. His leadership promises to advance Old Westbury's impact on the local and global community, and our standing as one of the most diverse colleges in the nation, with a commitment to educational excellence, access, equity, and once more, to building a more just and sustainable world. Dr. Sams.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Before I get into my simple welcome, I want to ask us to acknowledge the hard work done by, I've been calling her my shero at this point, because she's done some work that I'm sure I would not have been able to do. That's Miss Danielle Collins-Grown for her work. Not only did she put together that spectacular graduation ceremony yesterday, she also put together today's activity as the leader. So there are others who helped her. Certainly, we're clear about that. But she truly has been the leader in all of this. And I think it's clear that she does it because it's a passion. I didn't know how passionate she was about this until after this morning ceremony. When we walked out, she told me she had her mother here taking pictures with any student's iPhone, if they so choose. So she made all of her family have passion for this moment, whether they liked it or not, eh? Okay, well, but truly, we appreciate everything you've done for these commencement exercises, certainly for a class that is historic. Dr. Anker has already pointed to the historic nature of you and your class. And just one more round of applause for an excellent, curated, expressed set of words on this occasion for Dr. Anker. Just one more. Thank you very much. So on yesterday, virtually, we recognized approximately 1,400 undergrads and graduates who completed their studies here at Old Westbury. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we had to conduct the ceremony virtually, but in my opinion, we did a great service to you graduates, and we hope that you agree with us. Yet, today we continue to honor you, and it is truly an honor for all of us in this room. You as graduates, with this recognition ceremony that is designed to allow you to have an in-person opportunity, especially with your faculty. This moment is as important to our faculty who have spent 2, 4, 5 years with you as it is for you. This is a culminating day for them as well. I would also point out the fact that you have taught us a great deal. Dr. Anker referred to it. But I think it's often lost upon graduates, the degree to which you teach us every day. When you come into the classroom, and over the past year and a half almost, you've come into the Zoom room, right? But when you talk about your lives, your challenges, your victories, when you talk in very real terms about what's happening, it keeps us as educators, it enables us to keep our feet firmly planted on the ground. And we appreciate the fact that you have taught us nearly as much as we think we have taught you. And we thank you for that. And we thank you for giving us another opportunity to recognize you as graduates. So we're here to recognize you. We're also here because we wanted one more opportunity to wear these robes. Yeah. So we tend to like these robes. We pay a lot of money for them, and we try to get a lot of wear out of them, right? And when you are 20 years in your career, 30 years in your career, you will come to understand the more tattered and torn your robe is, the more seasoned you are, and it demonstrates, or it's a show of worthy or respect. So please, when you get your graduate robes, wear them proudly, and hopefully you'll come home to Westbury and wear them at a ceremony. By way of formally welcoming you to today's recognition ceremony, let me share this with you. When you return home in West Africa, in Ghana in particular, when you first walk through the door, the family greets you and sets you down, usually in a circle, and they ask you a single question. What have you done since the last time I saw you? They give you a beverage, usually Fanta, right, Blitty? Usually a Fanta, right? Orange, Fanta most office. But they ask you, what have you done since I last saw you? Why? Because it's important that they understand your travels. Through watching and understanding your travels, they see, again, yet who you are. Well, as welcomes go, this question feels highly appropriate today. Since we last saw you almost a year and a half ago, it's been that long. You quarantined, you worked, you took care of your family. Some of you may have said your final goodbye to loved ones. You took to the streets by organizing against racial and environmental justice, all while maintaining your focus on your goal of graduating, finishing in spring of 2021. So it is fair to say that you have stayed focused, stayed rigorous, and stayed committed to your future in the time since we last met. And because of that, today, we are immensely, immensely proud of you. We honor you, and we welcome you to your recognition ceremony. Before I take my seat, I want to speak about one student. While we celebrate today the achievements of all the graduates who are with us, I'd be remiss if I did not recognize one participant today who has truly excelled. I understand how challenging it has been for all of our graduates to see their studies through. You read, you wrote, you studied, sometimes well into the evening because that's the only time the house was quiet enough. You managed through your group projects, you conducted research, you weathered exams, and you waited on grades. Like you, Jamie Irene Laporte did all that as well and completed her degree in special education childhood with a 4.0 grade point average. Jamie, would you please step forward so I can give you a small gift to mark your achievement? And again, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I didn't bring my mask, sorry. I'll hold my breath, okay?
Thank you.
Congratulations. I return to the podium, Dr. Wayne Edwards.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sams, Dr. Anker, for those wonderful words of encouragement. You know, as educators, and I think I can speak for all of us educators in the room, as educators, I've been asked a lot over the years, well, what makes what you do so special? Why are you so passionate about it? And what I generally say is because as an educator, I'm tasked with preparing future generations to add to the world, right? To help make this the world that we need it to be. So I think I can say on behalf of all the educators in the room that while we don't relinquish that role, we do embrace you and encourage you to bring your voice and your experience and your passion to preparing future generations to help make our world a more just and sustainable place. Okay, so that said, and one other thing, I also want to encourage you, you are now, as I said earlier, you are no longer Old Westbury students, you are Old Westbury alumni, and you belong to this ever-growing great family of Old Westbury alumni. So I challenge you also, not just to prepare that next generation and generations after that, but I challenge you to stay in touch with us at Old Westbury, to come back on occasion and speak to current students and reach out a hand to them and let them benefit from your knowledge, your experience, and your wisdom. Somewhere in the hallway is Penny Chin. I don't know if she's in the room right now, but Penny Chin is our Director of Alumni Affairs. Please say hello to her on your way out, because you will hear from her at some point. So we encourage you, stay involved, stay with the college, stay in touch with us, let us know what you're doing, and again, help those coming behind you. So as we move forward to the conclusion of today's ceremony, let me tell you that graduates will move row by row with the help of volunteer ushers starting from the back of the room up to the podium. Okay, if you notice that screen over there, we have on our Zoom station faculty members who want to say hello to you, but were not able to be here with us today, so feel free to stop by and say hello on your way to the podium. When you get to the podium, or just before you get to the podium, hand your yellow name card to Danielle, who will be collecting, and cross the stage. And don't forget to stop if you wish, and I hope you all wish to, don't forget to stop to take a photo with President Sams and wave to your loved ones who are watching from home or wherever they may be. Faculty in attendance, if you'd like, please stand in front of your seats to greet the graduates as they come by so that they can say hello to you and feel your love and energy. That said, Dr. Sams, can I please invite you to take your position at the center of the stage? And I'd like to ask Acting Dean of the School of Education, Dr. Diana Sukram, to please come to the podium and call the names of our graduates. All right.
Good afternoon, School of Ed grads, Old Westbury alum. Congratulations. Amanda Neenan, Special Education with Childhood Education. Megan Zabala, Special Education with Childhood Education. Lindsay Littman, Childhood Education. Megan McIlwee, Special Education with Childhood Education. Jessica Kerrigan, Special Education with Childhood Education, cum laude. Amy Kelly, Special Education with Childhood Ed. Come on, graduates, let's get loud. Ebony Smith, Childhood Education. Nicholas Pasquini, Adolescent Ed, Social Studies. Brianna Portario, Childhood Education, magna cum laude. Brianna Masiri, Childhood Education, summa cum laude. Leticia Torres, Childhood Education, cum laude. Jamie Laporte, Special Education with Childhood Ed, summa cum laude, 4.0 graduate. Joseph Tragna, Special Education with Childhood Ed, cum laude. Stephanie Shalier, special ed with childhood ed. Gabrielle Gage, childhood education. Michelle Rodriguez, adolescent ed, math. Gabrielle Abate, adolescent ed, math, magna cum laude. Kayla King, special ed with childhood ed, magna cum laude. Gabriela Cruz Portillo, childhood education. Rachel De Jesus, childhood education, summa cum laude. Julia Katz, special education with childhood education. Brianna Palmieri, special education with childhood education, magna cum laude. Caroline Ciccarello, special education with childhood ed, summa cum laude. Emily Vetzi, special education with childhood ed, magna cum laude. Isabella Barbone, childhood education, magna cum laude. Dina Saya, childhood education. Joanne Linares, childhood education with bilingual extension, magna cum laude. Viviana Librius, childhood education with bilingual extension. Alyssa Brown, special education with childhood education, cum laude. Emily Andor, childhood education. Kayla Silverstein, special education with childhood education, cum laude. Gloria Cruz, childhood education with bilingual extension, cum laude. Call Shakira. Shakira Henry, special education with childhood education, TOC intern. Desiree Risden, special education with childhood ed, magna cum laude, TOC intern. Destiny Yaris Rivera, special ed with childhood ed, cum laude, TOC intern. Teresa Carolina Guevara, childhood education with bilingual extension and English, summa cum laude, TOC intern. Congratulations, School of Ed alums.
I just want to note one thing. I am certain that you have the absolute best mortarboards in the college. And it may be because they're trained on how to make really productive, what are those things called? Bulletin boards. So if there was a class for it, you all passed it. Impressive.
Okay, well, again, congratulations, class of 2021. Make some noise. There you go. So if you haven't yet, on your way out, as our program concludes, grab an Old Westbury swag bag. I think most of you have already, but grab one on your way out. There are stations over here where you can take pictures with friends, with faculty, with administrators. And when you exit, if you have family members here, there are stations outside where you can take pictures with your family as well. So we congratulate you. We love you all. Be well, do your best, make Old Westbury proud, and take care.